Okay, out of curiosity, I'm going to cover Ruin Leon's coverage of the FSU shooting, right? This guy, right, was he covered the Carmelo Anthony case, and clearly he has a white supremacist tilt to what happened. Wait a minute, what? No, school shooter, trans school shooter? No, I don't think so. So what I want to know, another school shooting where the narrative is more important. What does he mean by that? What does he mean by that? Because it's clearly coming out. People told on this nigga. You know, they told on him. They told y'all that he was that he was a white supremacist, a fan of Charlie Kirk. He got kicked out of political organizations because how bullheaded and ignorant his views were. And, you know, he was like literally pictured wearing a fucking manga hat. So I want to know, what type of bent are you going to make to like whitewash this terrorist?
That video perfectly encapsulates everything I've been saying about school shootings for like the past 2 years. Because if you didn't know, there was a school shooting at FSU yesterday.
Our breaking news on the campus of Florida State University. Police say a 20-year-old student went on a shooting spree on campus today.
It all happened right there at the student union around noon today. Here is what we know so far. 2 people are dead, but they are not students at Florida State. 6 other people were shot and rushed to the hospital. The shooter is in custody right now, but he was also shot by police and taken to the hospital as well. That shooter has been identified as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner. He is the son of a Leon County deputy. He was also a student at Florida State. The sheriff says the gun he used today belongs to his mother, who was that deputy. Let's get back out to Fox 35's Marie Ettinger live on campus tonight with the very latest. Marie.
Just a half hour ago, I showed you video of students who talked about how this has impacted them, how they ran away in fear. At first, not even hearing the gunshots, some of them just seeing a stampede and reacting to that. Some of them saying they wound up barricading themselves inside until police came to get them. Now, that student union is just about a half mile away from where I am, and up until a few moments ago, police presence was still extremely active here. We had local and state law enforcement on scene, as well as the FBI. They are still monitoring the campus, even though we know that threat has been neutralized. The fear here is still palpable, and that's one of the things they're trying to get control of, not just gathering information, trying to figure out how this happened and why, but also making sure that students feel safe. I did talk earlier with one of the students who was in that student union. Garrett Weimer was able to speak with him as well from Fox 35, and we talked about him, or excuse me, with him about how he was feeling when all of this happened, those exact moments when everything started going wrong for the students here at FSU. Now, he says he grew up in schools where drills for shootings were common. He says that this was presented as something almost common and something that kids learned about to make sure that they'd be prepared if it ever happened. He never thought that that would be.
Oh, what's the ethnicity? Oh, what's the political beliefs? Oh, what's the sexuality? Oh, this video of someone recording a body that's bleeding and they're walking by.
I mean, the point of, you know, people discussing this is to show the hypocrisy in conservative logic, where we pretend like white people are these innocent angels who never do anything wrong. They're not violent. They never commit any crimes. And anytime white people do get violent, you know, they just could, all shucks, they couldn't help it. But that's counteracted by the irony that most mass shooters are white people, are white men especially. Whether it's a white supremacist terror attack, whether it's incel motivated, but I repeat myself, whether it's motivated by just like loneliness and depression and lack of mental health assistance, is most of the time a white man who goes viral doing these shootings. And then, you know, people will mock racist people and bigots on the right by, you know, making jokes like, oh, was it trans? It wasn't a black person. It wasn't Hispanic. It wasn't an Arab person. You know, they will say that. They will say that to counteract and to make fun of the narrativization that white people are innocent angels who never do anything wrong. That's the point of people making fun of this.
by it, not caring, sipping Starbucks. Oh, why is that going on? It's going on. All of these things are going on is because as they keep happening again and again and again and again and again and again, and they become a little bit more frequent from the previous one because it.
So what's your solution, you whiny ass bitch? I see what his type of right wing political content is. It's to say a lot of words to mean nothing. That's how he gets you into like the right wing echo chamber. It's similar to like don't get me wrong, Tim Pool is somebody who's like directly partisan, but he pretends like, I'm not a right wing or a left wing person. I just care about facts a lot. And when people try to discuss it with a, especially a liberal or left-wing political vent, he pretends like he's the same person standing in the middle when he's just literally it comes off as just sounding like a bitch with no opinions. So why even bother making this video? Why be a political commentator if you don't got a point to make about this motherfucking narrative?
It wasn't longer than 2 days ago we were talking about another shooting that happened at a school in Texas. And the more...
Was it a shooting or a mass shooting? And most mass shooters are still white. Like, I don't know why they do that shit. It's like, don't get me wrong, bro. We got issues in our community, but it's like gang shootings and interpersonal problems by 16-year-old boys is completely different from a white supremacist terrorist, a white asshole going up to a school and unaliving tons of people because he's depressed, angry, and he, instead of getting mental help, he does the Andrew Tate / right wing shit like, no, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna make it, I'm the freedom of the bias of the worm of the flock, and I'm gonna fucking do it. And then they wind up getting into some type of psycho ass state where they go to a school and try to unalive innocent people. That's what's being discussed here, bro. So you falsely equivocating the problems in the black community and interpersonal shootings and shit like that through gangs or interpersonal disputes with crazy white folks going up to schools to shoot and kill people is insane that you would do that shit. These are two separate problems with two separate motherfucking solutions, dog.
The more these go on, the more people feel comfortable barely caring and just getting the cycle out of the way.
So what are you gonna say? What is your solution to this? Because I believe, even as a leftist, I love the Second Amendment, but we need some sort of gun control and gun laws. We need to stop letting everybody get access to firearms. And even in this case, because he used his mom's weapon, so her ass should be on the hook too for allowing this dude to get access to her firearm, to not have it locked up properly when she was off duty, because he used her weapon. So there's a lot going on here. This is another case of a white parent being irresponsible and allowing their child to get access to a firearm, which they took to the school and unalived a bunch of people. This is fucking ridiculous, bro. You don't have no solutions to this problem. You're gonna whine and pretend like you're above it all, and this is arguably more annoying than your last video.
Where it happens, there's panic, there's political discussion, there's gun control discussion, there's a thoughts and prayers somewhere in there. We rinse, repeat until we all die. And it's getting sad. Why? Because it keeps happening more and more to the point where, fuck it, we just got to start questioning what's wrong with us because we're not having as much compassion as we used to have about these things.
What the actual fuck is wrong with our society, bro? If you don't know, there's a fucking school shooting at FSU right now. And the first thing I see when I open up Twitter is some people fucking saying, oh, the liberals are gonna do this. Oh, the Trumpists are gonna do this. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? What is that?
Cause dipshit Luca lifts or underscore lifts, because what we need to do when it comes to violence in this country, we need to start assigning blame properly. So, because this is funny, bro, and I'm putting Leon on the hook for this shit too, because you played this video in the middle of your video. So it's like when a black person does something, right, or Hispanic or Arab person does something, or even a white person that disagree with y'all politically does something, right, that's on that entire fucking race. We are all responsible, because it's like some black kid in like Los Angeles, right, gets in like a shootout, right, and one of them like gets unalive, whatever, and there's a funeral. That's all black people in the country are responsible for that. But when we constantly have these white terrorists going around with their debilitating mental health issues and radicalizations to the far right, thanks to shit like this, all of a sudden it's apolitical and we shouldn't be talking about who did it. We just need solutions. Ain't that a bitch? That's a hypocrisy. And no, nobody is going for this shit anymore. So like I said, because it's like they try to use empathy against people, and I think we have come to the end of civility politics when it comes to discussing these issues, even on this channel. What I'm tired of, bro, is every time I open up social media every 4 to 6 weeks, is some crazy white man, and the reason doesn't matter, going around in a school killing a bunch of defenseless unarmed people. Shit, at least when you want to talk about violence in the black or Hispanic community especially, that's like gang violence and shit. But white people are purposefully, not white people like as in all of them, but these white gunmen are purposefully seeking out unarmed individuals that don't have shit to do with what's going on in their life and killing innocent people for no reason. These people didn't have shit to do with whatever this guy Phoenix had going on in his head, but now 2 people are dead and 6 people are never going to be the same again. And people are tired of that shit. People are getting tired of, again, when a black person does some shit, that's every black person's fault. But when we want to talk about the shit that white people do, then it's nobody's fault and we just need solutions. The hypocrisy is fucking astounding. And in fact, I'm skipping this segment, bro. It's more than one. You have got to be kidding me. This like whiny bitch bullshit where we don't solve problems in our society, because when we try to assign blame properly, talk about accountability, especially to white people or men or and whatever, or rich people, we don't get to discuss it, because then we have these fucking whiny ass, if you excuse the language, cowards and sycophants going around talking about well, no, we shouldn't be talking about the demographic, man. We just like need solutions, man. Stop like politicizing it and just think of solutions. And even the solutions that activists come up with, like that are completely aracial, like gun control, get ignored. So no, we're gonna start making fun of and bringing and assigning blame properly that we have a problem in our country with white men committing mass shootings. And and the hypocrisy is astounding, because whenever the mass shooter is somebody of a different race, they believe, see, look, what about this mass shooter? This mass shooter wasn't white. No, we clearly fucking know from the history. Even if you want to bring up like, ironically, they believe a lot of the same things, like Islamic extremism versus like white terrorism and shit. White terrorists and white mass shooters still outnumber Arab and Muslim ones. So, this is clown shit. Like, get out of here.
Have to do about politics. Kids are fucking dying.
So now nothing's political. I don't even know what politics is. You know what? We shouldn't even think about politics. No voting, no legislation, nothing. This is just a tragedy that we need to all think about.
Here weren't about fucking. That shit's just crazy, man.
And keep in mind, they never used this logic with any other situation.
I'm sorry to all the people who were affected, but I hope you're all okay.
Stop politicizing.
I just watched a video of a Florida State student actively bleeding out, and the person filming her is casually strolling by while sipping a Starbucks coffee and recording her body. I'm not sure how we've become so apathetic and insensitive. Maybe it's because things like this happen so frequently in America, or maybe it's because cell phones have rotted our brains, but we are in need of a serious cultural realignment. For the person who took that video, I wish you nothing but the worst.
And it's sick that we're not, but the thing about that is, as long as it keeps happening more frequently, the less people are gonna like have that panic and compassion, and more people are just gonna look at the cycle and say, all right, which part are we on? And it sucks. It is disturbing and disgusting that somebody, instead of either ignoring the body or calling 911 to let them know that, hey, there's somebody.
Sure, they called 911. I'm sure that they did. Like, I don't know what point is even being made here about like somebody filming a body as they were walking away. I don't know like how is that relevant to like this entire thing. Like this is like again, this is taking this is taking accountability from our, you know, our system, you know, and they're talking about nonsense. This that doesn't even matter.
Body bleeding right here. They're recording it and just going on in their merry way and posting it on social media. Yes, it's deranged. Yes, it's fucking crazy. Yes, it shows a lack of compassion, but you can no longer be surprised by these things. You can no longer look at some shit like that and be like, oh my God. You just gotta look at it and be like, yep, that's the fucking world we live in. And
I mean, hey, you know what a real fucked up thing is a lot of survivors of mass shootings go on in life to go to these colleges and stuff and experiencing another mass shooting. So maybe that was one of those people that have seen a dead body, that's done seen their classmates dead before. So now they walk past another body that's bleeding to death. It's like makes no difference to them.
regardless of what anybody thinks, nothing's really gonna happen because now I'm at the point of saying, well, it's the end of the year. We're not really gonna see another one. There's about a month and a half left for a couple people when it comes to school and college. Who knows what's going on for these colleges when it comes to summer classes? And then we got another school year of potential mass shootings. It gets to a point where people are just
So what are you gonna say about it?
tired because they know none of the people in the world that are leaders can do anything about it because, again, as I stated in the last video about this said topic, what criminal do you know that's gonna give a fuck about respecting the law? We got people who are
It works because, you know, like the issue with that is that you know, this like false equivalency of like, you know, situation analysis. So I really got to do this right now. So look, I'm gonna make this really easy for him. Most mass shootings are done with long guns and assault rifles, right? Interpersonal disputes and crime shootings are mostly done with pistols. People want to keep, you know, don't get me wrong, all guns out of the hands of criminals, but they especially want to keep long range, rapid fire assault rifles out of the hands of people that want to commit mass shootings through things like background checks, longer waiting periods, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Crime, like, you know, like robbery or, you know, unalivings, like, you know, you see two gang members, like, you know, shooting at each other, is done with pistols. You know, just so we clear, because I don't even understand what was the point of saying that. Like, they try to say, oh, if we create new gun laws, criminals aren't going to care. But criminals use pistols, not assault rifles and shootouts.
are talking about how these people are trans and how that matters. It came out as the time went on, which is what you should do when it comes to breaking stories. Just wait and you will get everything that you want. That the individual ain't trans, but they're the son of a current deputy who got the guns from the deputy and where they keep the guns. Because once you're the son of somebody who works in the police force, you tend to have a little bit more easy access towards these guns. There are people bitching and moaning about this dude being a fucking Republican or a Democrat or a leftist or a pansexual. It's like,
I mean, that's important to speak out. That's important to speak out. And like, and assign blame properly. So you, because it's like he's doing this like false equivalency, because this person is just lying. Yeah, so anyways, nothing to really say here. This dude is a centrist coward with no real views that he wants to commit to. So I would advise you, my dear friends, to never, you know, if you ever find somebody on the internet like this, right, that is like doing this both side shit, they're right wing, and the idea of their channels is to pollute the narrative. So different news stories or discussions about different topics gets a right wing tilt. And no matter what, they act like they're in the middle, but they're not in the middle. They're clearly partisan on, you know, what they're trying to say. That was a weird video.